Have you ever heard like a guitar solo that just sings? Yeah, it flows, it sustains,
Mm.
or maybe a bass line that sits perfectly in the track, just holding everything down.
Yeah, totally. That perfect pocket feel.
Exactly. Well, there's often this hidden ingredient, this kind of secret sauce making that happen.
Right. Something shaping the sound behind the scenes.
And what's really wild is that a lot of the time it comes from tech that's, believe it or not, over a century old.
It's pretty amazing when you trace it back.
So today we're diving deep into audio compression, its whole evolution.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to follow it from uh, its really surprising start in old telephone systems,
Mhm.
all the way to those little stomp boxes guitarists love.
Yeah, it's quite a journey. Our mission here is really to unpack where it all began, look at the big breakthroughs, and, figure out the impact compression's had, which is huge, even if it's sometimes subtle.
Right.
We're digging into our source, the compression pedal, a century of sonic shaping, to show how this, often invisible process really changed how we hear music, fundamentally.
Okay, let's get into it. Because the origin story is, well, it's not what you'd expect, is it?
Not at all. No studios, no guitars involved initially.
It actually pops up way back in 1876. Can you believe that?
Why?
Telephone engineers, right? They were trying to solve a basic problem.
Exactly. People talking at different volumes, someone shouting, someone whispering.
Uh-huh.
And they needed something to manage that, to make the levels more consistent over the line. So they came up with these leveling amplifiers.
Just to make conversation possible, basically.
Pretty much. Imagine trying to have a call without it. Chaos.
So that practical need, that was the seed for everything else.
Yeah, that's the bedrock. Dynamic range control. It wasn't about art yet, just making the tech work.
Okay.
But the idea started spreading. By the 1930s, you see it moving into commercial audio applications.
Right.
And here's another thing, even those early tube amps, the valve amps,
Uh-huh.
they naturally compress the signal a bit. When you push them hard, the tubes would saturate. Ah, okay, so guitarists were getting a taste of it without maybe even knowing the term.
Exactly. That pleasing kind of squish when you crank the amp. That was compression, in a way.
Then we jump forward to 1965, the Teletronics LA2A. That feels like a landmark moment for studios.
Oh, absolutely huge. The LA2A was, well, it was
Really?
revolutionary.
What made it so special?
It used this thing called an optical T4 cell, basically light and a light-sensitive resistor.
Okay.
The audio signal makes the light brighter or dimmer, and that changes the resistance, which controls the volume. The key was it did this really smoothly.
Smooth how? Like musically.
Yeah, exactly. It reacted to the music, not just like hard limiter. People called it program dependent. It could make things sustain, glue tracks together. It just sounded good.
Right.
Became an instant classic.
Mm.
Vocals, bass, even guitars. It really defined a lot of the sound of the 60s and 70s. It wasn't just controlling levels. It was adding character.
So a studio essential.
Yeah.
But how does that tech end up in a little metal box on the floor? That's the next big leap, right? Late 70s. Suddenly, guitarists could stomp on a compressor.
A game changer for live playing, I bet.
Totally transformative, putting that control right at their feet. Some early ones, Roland had the AS1 sustainer around 75, said it was distortion-free sustain.
Okay.
Then BSS came along pretty quickly with the CS1, then the CS2. Simple controls, but effective. Sustain, level.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those early CS2s, interestingly, they even had an attack knob, let you decide how much pick noise got through before the swish.
Ah, that's important for feel.
Definitely. But the big one, the one everyone seemed to latch onto.
Gotta be the MXR Dynacomp.
Yep. 1976 just took off, especially in Nashville, became kind of the standard sound for country guitar.
Why Nashville? What did it do for those teleplayers?
It just worked perfectly for that style.
Yeah.
The sensitivity knob let you dial in how much squash you wanted, and the output brought the level back up. It thickened the tone, made single notes sustain, and it gave that snappy, percussive, chicken pickin' sound incredible clarity. It wasn't just louder, it shaped the envelope of the note, made those fast runs pop.
And then there was the Ross compressor, right? Similar time, similar circuit.
Yeah, basically a tweaked Dynacomp circuit. Came out around the same time.
That it had its own vibe.
It did. People felt it was maybe a bit warmer, rounder sounding, less sharp than the Dynacomp sometimes.
Okay.
But its real fame came later, didn't it?
You mean with Trey Anastasio?
Exactly. Fish blew up in the 90s, and Trey was using a Ross. Suddenly, everyone wanted one.
The power of artist association.
Totally. Drove the prices of those original gray ones sky high. Sparked a huge vintage pedal craze.
Right. And we should probably give a nod to Dan Armstrong's Orange Squeezer, too, even if it wasn't a Soundbox from '69.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That little plug-in module, super simple, but it put that compressed sound into a really compact format. You can see the influence on later pedals for sure.
So this whole period, late 70s, it's really about guitarists getting direct control, isn't it?
Absolutely. Taking that studio power and putting it right on the stage. A huge shift.
Okay, so moving forward, mid-'80s, does the tech start evolving within the pedals themselves?
Yeah, you start seeing different approaches emerge. Boss, for instance, brought out the CS3 compression sustainer in '93.
What was different about that one?
It used a VCA, a voltage-controlled amplifier.
Okay, what does that mean practically?
VCAs are generally faster, cleaner, maybe more precise than the optical or OTA, operational transconductance amplifier designs used in things like the Dynacomp, less inherent coloration, maybe lower noise.
Right.
And crucially, the CS3 added a dedicated attack control back in, along with tone and sustain. So you could really fine-tune how it grabbed the note, made it great for like funk rhythm playing, tight rock stuff.
Control becomes more granular.
Exactly, more refined shaping.
And then we get into the late 90s, the 2000s.
Yeah.
The boutique era really kicks off.
Oh yeah, a whole explosion of smaller builders. And they weren't just copying old designs, they were innovating.
Like taking studio concepts and cramming them into pedals.
Precisely. Robert Keeley's 4-knob compressors, maybe the prime example, came out in 2007. Sold like over 44,000 of them.
Wow. What did it offer?
Studio-style controls. Clipping, attack, sustain, level. In a standard pedal size, it really blurred the lines between a simple stomp box and a rack unit.
So more choice starts appearing. Different flavors of compression.
Tons. You started seeing pedals specifically designed to sound like optical compressors again, like the Origin Effects Cali 76, going for that LA2A vibe. And also really high-fidelity VCA or FE-based designs, aiming for transparency and headroom. Things like the Diamond compressor, the Exotic SP compressor.
So what drove that? Why did players suddenly need all these options?
I think as players got more sophisticated, and frankly, as the technology got better and more accessible for small builders, the demand grew. Guitarists realized compression wasn't just one sound.
Right.
They wanted different types of compression, different characters. They started understanding things like the compression knee, how it transitions into gain reduction.
Hard knee versus soft knee.
Exactly. A hard knee clamps down fast, like the Dynacomp. A soft knee eases in more gently, more transparently, maybe like an optical compressor. These boutique pedals gave players that choice. More nuance.
It's fascinating how fast it all ramped up once guitarists really embraced it, isn't it?
Absolutely. The innovation just accelerated like crazy.
Which brings us pretty much up to today. Modern compressors seem incredibly versatile now.
They really are. You see this blend of analog circuitry with smart digital control sometimes, or just really refined analog designs.
What kind of features are common now?
Well, pedals like the Wampler Ego, Surkoji, Bondi 2026, Origin Cali 76, lots of them have a parallel blend control. Dry-wet mix.
Ah, like in the studio. Mix the compressed sound with the original.
Exactly. Keeps the attack natural while adding sustain. Super useful. Plus, you often get switchable voicings, fully adjustable attack and release knobs. You can dial in anything from super subtle leveling to really intense squashing effects, all in one box.
And we even have pedals now that are explicitly modeling those old studio legends, right? Like the Universal Audio LA2A pedal.
Yeah, that's a huge development. It's incredible, really.
Yeah.
Using powerful DSP, digital signal processing, they can accurately recreate the sound and behavior of those classic, expensive rack units.
How is that even possible in a small pedal?
It's down to incredibly sophisticated digital modeling. They analyze every aspect of the original analog circuit, the tubes, the transformers, the optical cell, including all its quirks and non-linearities.
Wow.
And they translate that into code. So now you can get remarkably close to that iconic LA2A sound right on your pedal board. It makes those legendary tones so much more accessible.
That's amazing. So looking back across all this history, different pedals clearly left their mark on specific sounds or genre.
Oh, absolutely. You can draw direct lines.
Okay.
Well, the Dynacomp, like we said, is inseparable from that Nashville telesound, that chicken-picking clarity. Session players relied on it.
Right.
The BOSC series, especially the CS2 and CS3, you hear that all over 80s funk and pop. That tight, snappy, sustained rhythm guitar sound. Very low noise for the time, too. Trey Anastasio making the Ross compressor famous, sparking that whole vintage thing. That's a huge cultural impact right there.
Yeah.
And even now, you look at players like Tom Quayle or Andy Timmons, serious virtuosos. They often use modern boutique compressors, using those blend controls and stuff to get really dynamic lead tones, even with high gain. It proves the tool is still evolving and essential.
It really drives home that idea, doesn't it?
Huh.
Compression is often this invisible hand shaping so many classic guitar tones.
Absolutely. It's fundamental.
So we've gone from solving telephone problems over 100 years ago all the way to pedals that shape music on stages and in studios across the globe today.
Quite the ride.
Compression, it seems, is just one of those essential tools.
Right.
It can be subtle polish or it can be a really dramatic effect. Often you don't even notice it's there, but you'd miss it if it was gone.
That's a perfect way to put it. So maybe next time you're listening and you hear that guitar solo that just sustains forever, or that bass line locked perfectly in the groove, take a second. Think about how maybe, just maybe, a century of messing with dynamic range control is the hidden magic making it sound so good. And you gotta wonder, where does it go next? How will this old idea keep evolving with all the new tech coming out?